welcome to Intro to Becoming a Virtual Professional, Part 2. And this time, we'll discuss standard equipment and basic tools. Okay, so the first thing that you need is, of course, a personal computer or a laptop. And depending on your needs, it is the backbone of your chosen freelancing career. It is where all or where the majority of the action happens. Now, the big question is, do you choose a PC or a laptop? Well, it depends on what you need, really. Okay, well, a PC is more customizable and upgradable, but it is limited to a certain space once it is set up. You can upgrade your memory, the hard drive. You can replace the parts depending on what needs to be replaced or upgraded. You can even set up like multiple monitors and speakers, whatever you want. It could be your own command center if you want, and it'll be really cool. Now you choose a laptop or a notebook computer. If you think that you will be moving a lot, going back and forth between places, you can get work done while even waiting for the plane at the airport or just simply at the coffee shop or even by the beach. That's something that I've done actually. I've brought my laptop along. So yes, the downside for the laptop is the limited monitor size. Okay, so it can only get as big as 14 inches, I guess, the screen size. Okay, otherwise it's going to be too big and too bulky to like carry around. Okay, and also if your laptop dies on you after a few years of use, you might need to buy a new unit altogether. If you can actually afford it, you can get a desktop PC and a laptop at the same time. Okay. Well, the next thing that you need, especially if you have a voice account, is a voice account is, well, if you're a freelancer that uses voice communication a lot, like as a VA, a virtual assistant, or if you take calls or you make outbound calls, then you need a quality headset. It's a good investment to get a headset that has noise canceling features. And of course, yes, it helps you concentrate on the conversation without bothering to hold the handset to your ear all the time. Next is, of course, high-speed internet service. This is a given. You cannot really go anywhere without high-speed internet. You won't even get past an interview if you don't have a good internet service. Otherwise, you're just going to be asking whether can you hear me or you're cutting out all the time, and that's just a turn off to your employer's potential clients. Now, depending on the scope of tasks and responsibilities, many of the clients require at least a 5 Mbps download and 3 Mbps upload speed. Some online teaching platforms require that you have a wired connection. If you want to become an online teacher, they require that you have a wired connection, not a Wi-Fi, pocket Wi-Fi or something like that. Also, the key is to get a provider that has a high stability rate. And you can do that by investigating in your community or in your neighborhood which service or which provider has the best service, which one has the least amount of downtimes, and which ones have and the ones that have the most reliable connection. For the other peripheral tools, of course, you have the standard mouse and keyboard. A good mouse and keyboard set will ensure that you work hassle-free and even stress-free. Depends if you still want a mouse and a keyboard with a USB connection or wireless. The thing with wireless keyboards and mice, you need to have your battery charged all the time. Well, a mobile phone can be your backup for your reminders, alerts, and even notepad, or also an emergency Wi-Fi service. I mean, who doesn't have a mobile phone these days? All right, so now let's go to the basic tools or applications. Of course, the Microsoft Office suite. Everybody knows that it's a set of programs for common productivity tasks, such as your Word, it's right here, your Excel, your spreadsheet. And let me skip to PowerPoint for your presentation. It's because it's compatible with most, if not all, Microsoft or Windows machines. If you have a client that would require you to have the company email address, then you might need to use Outlook. Okay, not far behind is Google Apps or Google Drive. Now, the good thing about Google Drive is it's cloud-based. It's your cloud storage solution, which means that, well, it started off as just sharing files through the cloud, but then now you have your own Google Docs, which is it's the counterpart of Word, and then you have your Google Sheets, which is the counterpart of Microsoft Excel. And yeah, they also have a lot of it's a plethora of valuable software and applications that you can share around with your clients and other coworkers from around the world. It's really, really cool. And what I really like about Google Drive or the Google apps is that as soon as you sign up for a Gmail address, it's just a few clicks and then tweak the settings, then you'll have your Google Drive account. Then you have access to all of these features. So we can also actually add here, because Google now owns YouTube, is that when you have a Google Drive or Gmail account, you automatically have a YouTube account. And another alternative to Google Drive is Dropbox. But Dropbox is purely a file sharing application. And then just as Google Drive, you can also set Dropbox to integrate into your desktop, which means that you can actually configure Dropbox or Google Drive into your Microsoft Windows Explorer, your File Explorer, so that Dropbox and Google Drive will actually function as a folder inside your computer. But then again, you still need the internet connection for that to function. Okay, let's now move on to our basic communication tools. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube account because I will be uploading some of the tutorials for each specific application. So, okay. Well, for Skype, now, so far, for now, Skype is still king when it comes to voice over the internet, VoIP telecommunications, because it came out first. It's been around for more than 15 years, I believe. You can use it on your computer, on your tablet, on your phone, even Xbox One and smartwatches, as long as you have the internet connection. I believe like some online teaching platforms, like we teach English to students in Japan or Korea, as long as you have Skype, you can use that. You can share. You can even share your screen with Skype. Although what I'm using right now is Zoom. Okay, this is my favorite because of the annotations that you can use while teaching. Um, well, Zoom, especially now in the days of the pandemic, especially now, in this age of pandemic, it has become the leader in modern enterprise video communications. It's also easier to use, and what I also like about Zoom is that you can send a link of the class or the Zoom communication room to people who don't have the Zoom installed, and they can just click on the link, and it will automatically configure itself into the mobile device, or they can click it through Google Chrome, for example, and boom, the application. You're in the chat. You're in the Zoom room. Another thing that I like about Zoom is what I'm doing right now as a screen sharing application. So this is what I'm using right now to actually record this entire presentation. Now, Loom is another alternative to Zoom when it comes to sharing your screen and speaking at the same time. I noticed that clients nowadays, instead of typing emails or giving out bullet points for instructions, that they prefer to send out a Loom. I guess it's easier for them to just speak into the microphone and just move around uh, on their desktop and show you the freelancer what needs to be done exactly without having to go back and forth to confirm which one actually needed to be done. So the good thing about Loom is that it's an extension in Chrome. You can access it immediately at the click of a button, and boom, it will start recording, and you can start speaking, and you can go back and forth just communicating through Loom. The drawback, I believe, is that when you use this kind of communication, is that you still need to take notes, and you might have to just replay and go back and forth in the video just to make sure that you've heard the instruction right. Okay, this is another one of my favorite tools. Okay, so Evernote is my go-to application when it comes to like my PDA, my personal digital assistant, and whenever something comes to my mind that I need to take notes of, I immediately go to Evernote because of its efficiency, and it's user friendly when it comes to taking notes. Your bullet points, your check boxes, and you can even take screenshots and just share it around inside Evernote. And of course, the best part of Evernote is that it syncs automatically across all your devices. So that's what I have right now. I have Evernote on my phone, I have Evernote on my desktop PCs and on my laptop, so that whichever device is closest to me that I need to take notes of something, then I would just write there, and then I can access that through my other devices afterwards. For now, Evernote is, there are other applications out there, but for now, my favorite is Evernote. Okay. Trello is a task management app that gives you a visual overview of what is being worked on and who's working on it. I have a tutorial of Trello that I'll be uploading in the following weeks. So watch out for it because Trello is really cool. It's also user friendly and it's easy on the eyes. It's not very intimidating like other charts. There aren't too many functions, and it lets you work more collaboratively and get more done because the boards, lists, and cards they enable you to organize and prioritize your projects in a fun. Keyword is fun. Look at the logo itself. It's not very intimidating. Okay, it's fun, flexible, and reward in a rewarding way because of the way they are arranged. Hootsuite is your, let me say, your hub, your social media management hub. So Hootsuite is your social media management hub. This is what you use if you have multiple social media accounts like Facebook and a Facebook page. See, a Facebook page and a Facebook account, they're very different in lots of ways. So you can manage your Facebook account, your Facebook page, even your Facebook group, which is another product altogether, and then your Instagram, your Twitter, your YouTube. Now you don't want to post in those social media accounts one by one. That's not really time and cost efficient. Hootsuite will come to the rescue by managing one single post and then posting it all at the same time across all your social media accounts. And you can also schedule them, and you can even reply and maintain engagement with the users and your followers and subscribers using Hootsuite. Now, Grammarly is a new app, but it's gotten good traction. It gotten popular really quickly because it automatically detects potential grammar, spelling, punctuation, word choice, and even style mistakes in writing. Of course, it's not 100% accurate because some of the things that we write are sometimes subjective, and of course, Grammarly as an app or cannot detect that 100%. Okay. So the algorithms will flag potential issues in the text, and it will suggest context-specific corrections for grammar and the like. Well, Grammarly is free. Actually, most of the applications that I've discussed are mostly free. Canva is a simplified graphic design tool. It's like your online Photoshop, and it's mostly drag and drop, so it's not that intimidating to use. Also, you have access to photographs, vector images, graphics, and fonts, so you don't need to worry about that. And compared to Photoshop, if you only have like the older fonts, if you don't update your fonts in Photoshop, then that's the ones that you're stuck with. But with Canva, they always have a new set or more updated fonts, more modern fonts, that is. hmm and it can be used by both non-designers and professionals. Let me just compare that Canva is like your iPhone 12 with awesome camera settings and other camera features, while Photoshop is your DSLR. It's on steroids, but you really need to have some skills to actually maximize its use. Other tools. We have time trackers and password sharing. Time trackers, this will depend on your employer or your client, which time trackers they want to use, or if you want to use time trackers at all. There are time trackers we will be discussing Upwork in the next part, in part three. So there's a specific in-house tracker there, right? But if you got hired outside of Upwork, then you might be using the more popular ones like Hubstaff, Clockify, and Harvest, I believe, for that. Um, and then lastly, password sharing. Password sharing, the ones And lastly, password sharing. For password sharing, the one that I use right now is LastPass. Now, what password sharing is that your client or employer might not be comfortable sharing the exact password with you, but would still need to give you access to all these sites and applications that you use for productivity. Okay, that's what LastPass or password sharing is for. The passwords are encrypted so that you cannot share it to other people, but you're the only one from across the world who can access these sites and other accounts. So you can check it out. Yep. So that is the end of part 2. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because I'll be uploading the tutorials for each application. That's it. Hope that you learned something. And don't forget to subscribe to all our social media accounts, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and of course here on YouTube. And everything will be put in our official website. That's it. Thank you for watching and watch out for part 3.